I mean,
Okay.
talking about Sega, that all I think about is the Dreamcast. Now the Dreamcast just kind of came, and you're right, Sony
Yeah.
had the plan to the T.
Yeah.
When the Dreamcast came out, waited patiently and just devastated them.
Yeah.
So Sega's gonna try again. Sega has survived. Sega hasn't needed a console to really
No,
survive.
but Sega, my childhood with Sega is the consoles, you know. The
Yeah,
fact that
absolutely.
the fact that they became purely software and then they did what I call a crime against humanity by putting their stuff on Nintendo. Even though I love me some Nintendo, but I just never ever wanted Sonic and Mario to ever meet like that.
In a world where geeking out never looked so good, two incredibly sexy men will rise for your auditory pleasure. Here's your hosts, keeping up with the Geek Bros.
Action. And thank you for tuning in to Keeping Up the Geek Bros podcast, episode 58. I'm Vibe.
I'm Darth Flex.
Who's Garbanzo?
You guys can go in any order you want.
Come on, Joe.
Our special guests are JoeTarro the Stallion, Rene, and DP.
Hello.
It's to our viewers because we do have 6 of us, and I think at only one time this can record 4. So there's gonna be 2 other voices, and you'll see probably their silhouette somewhere at the bottom. We're gonna make this work next time. But greetings everyone, and thank you for joining us. Flex, before we get started, you want to hit us with the social media?
Absolutely, Vibe. You look good today, by the way.
Oh,
So, all you beautiful fans can find us. God damn it! All you beautiful fans can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Geek Bros with a 0. That's GEEKBR0S.
that's right. You know, I got to type there for you. Do you have the outline in front of you?
It's right here, man. But like,
All right, I got you.
I'm on my right.
It's
All right,
the font size.
And you can also email us at geekbros@yahoo.com. So again, that's GEEKBR0S at yahoo.com. One of us will answer you, hopefully. You can also find us on
Eventually.
weebpc.com.
Allegedly.
The only place for the Geek Bros.
The
And
only
you can also
place.
check out these beautiful, handsome, rugged, alpha, toxic, masculine men on YouTube. You can look us up at youtube.com/5rev studios.
And just to throw in there, Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019 live panel Friday, April 12th, 1 p.m. Central Time. I can officially announce that to you guys. The embargo is over. Check us out. That's Friday, April 12th, 1 p.m. Central Time. And then get up close and personal with the Geek Bros at the podcast meetup Saturday, April 13th, 7:30.
Real up close and personal.
So check us out. We're going to get a little deeper with that. Gents, we're going to go round robin. I don't know how we're going to make this work out. Tell me about your weekend. I'm just going to name everybody. Flex.
Excellent. So this past weekend, I actually did 2 weight cuts for some local MMA fighters. It was pretty good. It got a little weird because it got to one point where we had to cut 1.6 pounds, and this dude had pretty big glutes. So one of the processes, I have to wrap them inside a bunch of towels, but before that, I apply sweet sweat or Oberlin. Unfortunately, the only place that I was able to get water out of him was his butt cheeks. So I had to actually get in there and rub down his butt cheeks with Oberlin. So that was a pretty eventful weekend. But he made weight, won first round. First round, he choked out the guy with a rear naked choke. Pretty successful.
All right.
Nice.
There you go.
I love that.
Garbanzo, tell us about your sweet sweat.
My sweet sweat for the weekend. Actually, this
We're
weekend
gonna call it that.
pretty
We
cool.
should call it sweet sweat for the weekend from now on.
I agree. We definitely. I think we just got a new catchphrase.
Thank you,
Actually, I actually celebrated my 2-year anniversary with Pink Jess on St. Patrick's Day. We ended up going over to the.
Hold on.
We ended up going to the field and just kind of chilling out, hanging out, and then we found a karaoke bar. It has like those karaoke pods.
Really? I need that.
I found it's actually at Gulfstream Park. It's called Plugged In.
Plugged in at Gulfstream Park because I've been looking for. Damn, that's hot. I've been looking for karaoke bar fucking splits.
So
Alright.
okay. So the whole thing is it's a little pricey for what you're getting, but it's overall, if you get a big group and you can really enjoy it, have a good time.
Fantastic. Lex, let me ask you a question before we move on to the next one. Did you have to take off your shirt ever so gently?
Yeah, because it's one of those stretchy shirts.
Oh, I get you.
I didn't want it to pull my
Your
Hamstrings.
Your boots.
right.
Didn't want to pull the glutes.
You didn't want to pull the glutes. Renee, how's your weekend?
Well, my weekend was pretty good. On Saturday, I went to the Hot Wheels official Legends tour in Pembroke Pines.
You went to the Walmart over there.
I went to the Walmart, yes.
Oh,
there was
snap.
actually a lot of really cool cars there.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Richard Rollins from Gas Monkey Garage was there. He was the primary judge. And
Oh, wow.
it was really cool seeing a lot of the builds that are out there, like stuff you don't see at meets all the time.
Yeah, I heard it's a good time.
It was very cool. They were giving out a Miami only Hot Wheel. Also only available at that show, but it ran out before I got there, and I got there early. I got there like around 8:15, and by that time, that had already run out.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
but other than that, it was.
I heard it was a nightmare. I heard it was a nightmare over there. With all the traffic in cars.
It was, there was ways around it. If you were trying to go in through the main entrance, there was a lot of traffic going in through the main entrance. But if you went in through the other side on like 184th Avenue, you got in pretty quick.
All right. Well, cool stuff. JoeTarro, the Stallion, your weekend.
Well,
That fantastic DP. How was your weekend? Let me stop. Sorry.
That's fucked up, man.
Anyway, family podcast, Joe. Family podcast.
Yeah, I forgot we can't say proper curses. So I went rock climbing on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
That's so gay.
Which was it's really gay. It really is. But it was an indoor rock climbing thing in Williamsburg.
That's even gayer. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Family podcast, okay? Allegedly. No, I went rock climbing on Saturday, an indoor thing. It's like a competitive place that they do competitions. It's like indoor stuff. I don't know. Anyway, went there and then got hammered that night. And then did nothing on Sunday. My weekend was not eventful at all. And you know what? That's fine. I don't really care. So
nobody's judging you, JoeTarro. You sound very defensive. Is there something you want to tell us?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I mean...
No, I mean, absolutely nobody's judging you. I just want you to know that. This is a safe place.
I'm just making sure the listeners don't, they're not like, oh, well this shit was boring. But,
right. Moving on. DP. Sure. Before we get into your weekend, okay? Now, we had a discussion about what DP means, okay? We came to the consensus that it meant double penetration. Now, we are allegedly a family podcast, but can you confirm or deny that assumption that we made about your talent name?
I won't say what it means, but I will deny it does not mean double penetration.
Okay, deep penetration.
Just kept it.
Yeah, yes,
with that being said, DP, welcome to your debut episode of Keepin' Geek Bros. Tell us about your weekend, boss.
Weekend was pretty straightforward. I normally work weekends, but I got lucky enough to go out for St. Patty's, ended up at Joysticks, which is Nintendo's gamer arcade. And we spent many happy hours on Mortal Kombat until I was dethroned around 2 o'clock in the morning.
All right. Well, round up my weekend, I did absolutely nothing. I did live vicariously on social media with those who actually, a bunch of people went to, oh wow, the screens just changed. Somebody left. Okay. Joe's gone finally. So a bunch of people that I saw on social media actually went to 10th Level Tavern for St. Patty's Day, and it looked like a blast. So that's what I did. I sat on my phone, rocking back and forth, watching everybody at 10th Level Tavern, saying, I was there. I did a live podcast there. I'm just at home. So that's what I did. So moving on, Garbanzo.
What's going on with the Geek Bros?
I think absolutely nothing has happened since the last time we recorded. We did do the James Gunn special. Yes. I know that did come out. It was a quick podcast. It was myself, Garbanzo, Flex, JoeTarro, the Stallion, and we jumped right in there to talk about Disney not so subtly rehiring James Gunn for Guardians 3. You guys want to check that out? The video recap's up there. The audio is up there as well. And I think that's about it. I'm working on some lost episodes featuring vintage Geek Bros, and we'll get some new stuff out. We're getting ready for Endgame, and that's pretty much what's going on with the Geek Bros.
And so tell me, what are we going to talk about today?
Say, we've got what's new in the gaming world. Splatoon 2 demo comes to the Switch. Google's mysterious gaming console. No Man's Sky Beyond multiplayer update. Kingdom Hearts 3 thus far, and the Japanese voice actor for Olaf is removed from game. Fortnite Nintendo Switch removes crossplay with Xbox and PS4. I put Xbox with no X. There we go. We're going to do a special WarFrame and DnD discussion featuring Garbanzo and DP. For Inebriated Fitness, we're going to discuss 3 weeks left until Star Wars Celebration Vibes Fitness Update featuring Darflex. And then Darflex wants to talk about Nootropics, the benefits for the brain and focus. For anime/animation invasion, we're going to discuss Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is just so great. Gadgets Are Us. I don't know, what is that? Nvidia's? What do you pronounce that?
Nvidia's
new graphic card. So Nvidia's new graphic card. That's for my editing. Open mic. Bart becomes an esports star on The Simpsons, and I picked that just because I wanted to mess with our flex. Netflix guesses your sexual preference. How Nick Fury lost his eye. It's going to be a debate that began with Rene and I via Facebook Messenger. Threw that in last minute. So, with that being said, we're ready for the fresh scent. Movies outstanding out this week? Absolutely nothing. I didn't think of anything. So we're moving on to what's new in the gaming world. Gentlemen, I sent you guys the links. I don't know if you're going to follow along with me. This article comes from Polygon.com. Splatoon 2 demo comes to Nintendo Switch plus 20% game discount. I don't know if any of you guys played Splatoon. I actually played a little bit of it. And since the Switch is still the very best thing that's ever happened to me in my life, I can't wait to download this demo. Stop laughing, Garbanzo, okay? Yes, I have offspring, but still, that pales in comparison to the
Can't
Nintendo
laugh at
Switch.
things you don't have.
So, what? Oh, no? Garbanzo, you don't have a Switch? Oh. Wow. I'm sorry to hear. But then again, I don't have an Xbox, but I don't feel bad at all. I don't. Have any of you guys have played Splatoon or know any about the Splatoon?
I have.
brand?
It's all right.
I think it's fun. I think it's fun. It's it plays to the kid in you. I enjoy it. I will be downloading the demo. Would I buy the game? Probably not. I will download the demo. I will play it on the Switch. It's one more excuse to neglect all my other adulting to play on the Switch beyond Pokemon Quest. So we're moving on to
very. It's a fun game.
Which one? Splatoon or Pokemon
Splatoon.
Quest? Oh,
Both
So-
of them. Both of them
so-
actually.
so
Splatoon is
Yeah.
pretty fun. I've played it at my little cousin's house whenever I've gone over,
yeah.
and we usually have a good time of it.
I mean, I never wake up and say I gotta play me some Splatoon, but I mean, like,
Yeah,
there are those moments when I'm just like, I want some colorful paint in my face, So family podcast allegedly.
Yeah.
All right. Have any of you guys heard about Google's mysterious gaming console?
No.
I've heard a little bit of it. Yeah,
I've heard very little.
right.
Mostly just rumors that it's supposed to be a lot more powerful than the Xbox X or the PS4 Pro. So
See, what I heard is that
actually,
Sega
claim
has
it should
something
be
to do with it.
combined more powerful than both of them.
Right, but I also heard that Sega has something to do with it. Like Sega is joining with them, and that's how Sega's coming back to the console business. But I don't remember where I saw that rumor, but this article comes from TheVerge.com. Everything we think we know about Google's mystery gaming announcement. All right, so Google is making a big play in gaming. We're still unsure exactly what it entails. For years, the company has toyed with the idea of getting involved in what is the biggest sector of the entertainment industry. It is estimated at $138 billion as of last fall. That's some serious money, and it would make a competitive sense. Amazon owns Twitch, Facebook acquired Oculus, and Microsoft has Xbox. The only major tech company without a serious gaming platform or investment of its own, not counting mobile games, is Apple. Although, there's rumors that they're going to have a gaming subscription coming soon. So Google has always had many pieces acquired to challenge the likes of Sony and Nintendo. The Android operating system is the most used mobile software on smartphones around the world, while Chrome browser and Chromecast, tongue twister, a streaming platform, has given the company an ease to run applications. So, this is the rumor for right now. What do you guys think about the concept of another heavy hitter jumping into the gaming console wars? And will they survive? Will they disrupt things? Because I still blame Sony for kicking Sega out, even though I don't think it was really their fault. So, what do you guys think? Free for all. Are you interested at all?
I have my reservations.
I mean,
Okay.
talk about Sega. That all I think about is the Dreamcast. Now the Dreamcast just kind of came, and you're right, Sony
Yeah.
had that plan to the T.
Yeah.
When the Dreamcast came out, waited patiently and just devastated them.
Yeah.
So Sega's going to try again. Sega has survived. Sega hasn't needed a console to really
No,
survive.
but Sega, my childhood with Sega is the consoles. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact that they became purely software, and then they did what I call a crime against humanity by putting their stuff on Nintendo. Even though I love me some Nintendo, but I just never ever wanted Sonic and Mario to ever meet like that. You know, that was the best rivalry in gaming for my childhood. But no, back to the Google thing. Now, Rene, you said you have reservations. I'm listening.
All right. So basically, as it's been Sega's history, after the Master System and after the Sega CD, every system they've come out with ever since after that, so the Saturn and the Dreamcast respectively, they've been out way ahead of their time and then have been beaten out by people like Sony, who waited patiently to release tech. So I'm hoping that, you know, with Google's tutorship on releasing stuff, they'll be able to not jump the gun, or I guess to keep it family friendly, blow their load early, and release this console like I hope they really put some thought into the release of this console, and they don't just jump into it and be like, hey, check out this badass console that we're going to price it way over market value. And then Sony comes out with the PS5 and says, well,
we're going to lose money.
Have a nice day.
We're going to lose money on the console to make money on the games. So this is where it's gonna be kind of interesting, because the fact of the matter is this: we're gonna call it the Google box for right now, because I have no idea what they want to call it.
The G box.
We'll just say that the Google box is gonna basically it's supposed to be the G spot. That's a good one. It's gonna be cloud based. So
the G spot is real.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, it's real.
Google hasn't released it yet.
It's like who find Carmen San Diego. Anyway, so the whole thing is that it's gonna be mostly cloud based. That being, it's gonna be like the streaming, like Streambox that Steam came out with.
That's a
so it's gonna be almost all cloud based. Now, cloud based gaming. Now, the majority of the games that I have on my Xbox were purchased on the Xbox on the actual store. I have very few actual physical discs.
But that's not cloud based though. That's you buying the digital copy and you're storing it on your console. See, cloud based is you're streaming it from them, like Netflix, and I think that's going to be a terrible idea.
And that's the thing now. So I'm sure you're going to be able to download your games as well.
Right.
You're gonna have to, because there's certain people that are. What happens if you don't have the strongest internet connection where you can actually stream? So you're gonna have to download the game itself.
I'm a physical game man. If I want the game, I want to see it. I want to hold it in my hand. I want to be able to trade it in if I want to. Not this digital stuff. I've never been a proponent of digital games, unless it's strictly like a mobile game. Fine, but I'm not spending $60, $70, $80 on a digital game.
Now that's exactly that was my point. Now,
especially since it's the same price, there's no difference.
So if Google turns around and changes the game by maybe their system will actually be, let's say, more expensive, okay, right. But the games ends up being cheaper.
Okay, I mean I'll work with that if that's cheaper by comparison, but as it stands right now, digital sales, there's no benefit. It's just, I guess, what is it called? Immediate gratification. That's all it is. But then again, it's not, because you still have to download the game, and it takes what? an hour, several hours, the same amount of time you would have to go drive to the store and pick up the physical copy and bring it in. And
Yeah, but now, even after you buy the game from the store, you're still gonna come in here and wait an hour for the update, anyways.
You're absolutely right. You still got to exactly, but you know, you're still waiting. So I'd rather at least have the thing physical and then go through all the motions. But you know, I see what's happening. But hopefully, I'm excited. I want to see what they bring out, especially if Sega's attached to it. And in the original rumor I heard is that Sega was attached to it, and I was like, hell yeah, because I want to hear Sega Google. Something like that. I don't care. I should ask Alexa. She might know about it. I'm gonna ask her when we get off of this. Any other comments before we move on to the next topic?
No.
The only thing I can say about that, for them to come into the market, they're having to compete with Nintendo. Nintendo, who is always not only just family friendly, but has had the greatest combination of games that focus on multiplayer.
Yeah.
For that dynamic, and now with the Switch, you can take it anywhere. You take that Switch, you can go.
God, yes.
And
Keep talking about the Switch. Keep talking about the Switch. Yes.
Sony, competitive with Sony, Sony is just a powerhouse with the PS4. They're powerhouse third party to come out. They have fantastic collection of labels and diehard fans. And Microsoft, which has not as many titles, but it has the interconnectivity with the rest of your appliance. You can hook up everything throughout their house with your Xbox. I can play from my office my Xbox from downstairs, all because every single piece of hardware is connected through my Xbox. To imagine what Sega and if Sega is a part of this, and Google comes out, what are they really bringing to the table? What are they changing in gaming to compete with these powerhouse?
Virtual reality and
Also,
holograms.
And VR, yeah, absolutely.
That's the next step.
Final thing, keep in mind that
we need the Oasis at some point.
Yes.
Oasis.
Oh man, can you imagine?
Porn.
Is it just me or is Rene slagging? Is it me?
No, he's lagging a little bit.
Okay, Rene, I'm sorry. Repeat everything you just said for the listeners.
Keep in mind that Microsoft has kind of a streaming service already for games, so they're really not bringing anything new with the whole streaming idea.
But if they can manage VR to the point where it's almost the Oasis, I'll go for it.
I want holograms. I want them. I want holograms. You can use holograms, and I'm good to go. So with that being said, Sega sent us some free stuff. We're gonna move on to and this is the biggest joke. I love it. No Man's Sky Beyond multiplayer update. Now, before I even get into this article, which comes from Polygon.com, the first place that Geek Bros get their news originally, sometimes, occasionally, allegedly. Now, No Man's Sky was, and I never cared about it. I just love the controversy around it. And what are we now? 2 years after, and now it's finally resembling the game that was originally. Have any of you tried, played, or attempted to enjoy No Man's Sky?
I have not.
Since it flopped, no. But
okay. You played it a little bit?
When it first came out, yes.
Fantastic. I want to hear that. I want to hear all about that.
It was nothing. It was nothing compared to the beta. It was nothing compared to what had been initially promised. The randomization of planets, ships, and the creatures, it was monotonous beyond. I mean, I've dealt with Monopoly with Elder Scrolls Online, with tons of grinding games where it's the same thing over and over again. This was a whole other flop. But from what I understand now from current players for the version for now, the game has evolved. The game has taken on a whole different life. I have not played the newest version of the game, so I feel almost ill to even say against the current platform. But when it first launched, it was a complete failure.
So being that you actually played at the beginning, are you not at least curious to see where it is now?
I mean, I'm curious. The problem is, Rene will tell you there are too many games. There's too much on my docket to even pick up No Man's Sky at this point. I tell you, Bean can go back and play the new version of No Man's Sky.
All right. So No Man's Sky Beyond update brings a radically new multiplayer component this summer. Okay, so Hello Games has announced the next chapter of its spacefaring adventure. Hello Games today announced plans for the next chapter of its spacefaring adventure. No Man's Sky Beyond will be released this summer. According to Hello Games, managing director Sean Murray. That guy is fantastic. There was a really good spoof about him from Honest Games or something like that. It was great. The free update will include 3 main components. The first is No Man's Sky Online, which brings major changes to the game's current multiplayer mode. It includes a radically new social media experience while empowers players everywhere in the universe to meet up and play together, finally. Nori wrote in an email to Polygon, whilst this brings people together like never before, it has many recognizable online elements. We don't consider No Man's Sky to be an MMO. It won't require a subscription, and it won't have any microtransactions, which is pretty good. So it'll be free for all existing players. No Man's Sky allows players to explore an infinite universes and planets, collecting resources, building bases, and fighting enemies. When the game launched back in 2016, it received mixed reviews, mainly because of its grinding mechanics and samey worlds. Since then, Hello Games has launched several updates and has fixed and mitigated most of the problems. So, you heard it. I actually love the controversy, but I'm curious about picking up the game maybe over the summer. Maybe if I this is a good segue into what the next topic, if I ever finish Kingdom Hearts 3. But don't stop laughing because Frozen. I don't want to let it, I can't let it go.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, it's okay, we'll discuss it later. Go ahead, continue.
All right, so we're going to move on to Kingdom Hearts thus far, Garbanzo, and I guess Rene, you can hop on that because you're playing. I will say again, I have gone nowhere in the last 2-3 weeks. How many episodes have we done since I reached the Frozen level? 3 episodes? This is our third episode. 3
episodes, yeah.
Yeah. That's 3 weeks, and I have not gone back to the game because I cannot stomach the Frozen episode. I dragged myself through Tangled, and I was like, okay, I got through that. Let's move on. And then Frozen happened, and I just put my controller down. It's bad enough there's all these cutscenes, but now it's cutscenes for Frozen. I can't do it to myself. Garbanzo.
I finished the game.
Oh.
And no
spoilers, please.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers.
But then you can review
great.
The game.
It was fantastic. I loved it. Even though I had to rewatch the final cutscene because I fell asleep.
Good. Too many cutscenes. Sorry.
But it was the gameplay, everything towards the end, the little surprises and things like that. I was very happy with. And then the whole thing is I can still go back and go and try to complete everything else that I didn't finish off last time. So I think I can still go back and get my what's it called, my gummy ship all the way to maxed out and try to go after the last couple chests. Nowhere near where Rene is at, but
Rene's 102%, so don't feel bad. But let me ask you, since you finished the game, then you can do a review based upon the story. Give me your non-spoilery review of the story as it's told. So I assume it wraps things up in this game. I haven't gotten to that point yet. Oh my god. But give me what was your overall experience?
Cutscenes and all. I actually enjoyed the game immensely. There was some nostalgia that I wanted to go back and play some of the other ones because like there was like other worlds that I wanted to go to. Like I wanted to revisit, Agrabah. I wanted to,
well, now you just ruined the game for me because I was hoping there was another Aladdin level. Thanks a lot for that.
Well, whatever. Just go play Frozen. And like there's certain places where I wish you could go ahead and go back to, but you don't really get a chance to. But
Right.
They kind of explain that in the storyline, how that all kind of pans out.
Mhm.
It also, the biggest part of it though that I kind of dug is that even if you didn't play all like the games in between,
Mhm.
where you get introduced to like Loxus and a couple of the other characters,
Right.
it breaks it down for you and kind of explains it. So
Okay.
even if you don't play them, you can still enjoy it, and it kind of brings it around full circle. And I liked it, I enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. The game is, for me, it's probably like a 9.
All right, Rene.
All right, so I'm currently playing right now, actually, throughout this podcast.
Well, then you know what? I need to go and get my friggin' Switch and start playing Pokemon Quest while I'm on the podcast.
So, that's why I have it muted, and that's why I've been able to pay attention to the podcast.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm trying to 100% the game.
You're close.
So I've basically gotten to the end already.
See, we see spoilers reflected in your glasses. I hope you know that.
Well, I'm just doing gummy stuff right now.
Yeah, the gummy ship is life. So you finished the game. What is your I guess your favorite parts about it, and what is your overall review of the game? And the cutscenes.
I honestly enjoyed it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I honestly really enjoyed the game. I'm still enjoying the game. Actually, it has some moderate replay value. Not so
Gummy
much
ship.
for the story, but just for like
the gummy ships.
and
Yeah, the gummy ship. That's awesome.
In typical Square Enix fashion, though, because Garbanzo pointed out something. After you beat the game, you can go back and do other stuff, which is interesting because in Square Enix fashion, the last boss is not the most difficult boss in the game.
Oh, okay. All right. So Sheparov. Sheparov.
There are other things.
Sheparov. Sorry.
There are other things in the game that make the last boss look like a walk through the 100-acre wood.
Nice product placement. There you go.
Oh, very well. Flex, you still haven't played the game yet, right?
Yeah.
You have any intention of playing the game?
Yeah.
You want to be a little more enthusiastic about potentially playing the game?
I gotta finish Red Dead Redemption first, man.
Right. Oh, you said it last time too.
Yeah.
DP, Kingdom Hearts.
I mean, I'm currently sitting at the Toy Story level. So I started playing, I got to it, but other gaming needs and time just took over. I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, and that's what kills me about this. I love the first and second game. I followed the other games. I was really excited for this, and they did a really good job pulling together the rest of the storylines. I'm very excited to one day. The difference is that there are a lot of require constant and continuous play to keep up with RPGs. A lot of those other games, those are my style, and you have to actively play them to keep up to date.
Right.
Kingdom Hearts and the Kingdom Hearts line, any of the Square Enix games, you don't have to play. You can put it away. Come back to it. And have nothing changed, which is nice, but it also doesn't require you to constantly be playing the game.
Good point.
Can I add something to his Square Enix comment?
I will at some point return and finish the game.
Yeah, Square Enix.
I'd like to add something to the Square Enix comment.
Oh, by all means, Rene. Let's hear this.
About tabling games and playing them later. Final Fantasy IX just released on the Switch.
Really?
Are you serious?
Yes.
Final
Fantasy IX is available to play on the Switch, so if you've never had a chance to play that one,
I want to play
Final
Final Fantasy X.
That's the one in the steel case you gave me that we used to play back in the day in South
That's
Florida.
12, and that was remastered for PlayStation 4.
I still haven't beaten the last hidden boss in that game. And that game was when? Was that a decade ago? 12 years ago?
13 years ago.
30 years ago. I have a PS2 up here in my office. At some point, I'm going to beat that last boss. So I'll let you know 10 years from now when I finish Kingdom Hearts 3.
Right after you finish doing the Frozen level, you should go do that. Then come back. I'll still be waiting for that. So with that being said, there's a little controversy with Kingdom Hearts 3. Square Enix removes Kingdom Hearts 3 voice actor from game after drug arrest. So, yeah, there you go. His name is Pierre Taki. No, this is a Japanese version.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Japanese version. His name is Pierre Taki. He works for the Japanese version of Kingdom Hearts 3, and the update will be a new dub. The company said in a news release, Taki's voice, he voiced Olaf in Frozen in Kingdom Hearts 3. He reprised his role from the Japanese voice acting from the Frozen movies. The move should have a little to no impact in the Western release of the games of Kingdom Hearts 3, which the actor is Josh Gad. He plays Olaf. So, he was removed because he was arrested by authorities in Tokyo on suspicion of drug use. Taki reportedly...
Wait.
Huh?
Well, for what drug, though?
He tested positive for cocaine.
Yeah, Snowman gets tested positive.
Yeah,
he wanted to get
It's based on a urine sample. The possession or use of cocaine carries a prison sentence of up to 7 years in Japan. So, wow. Big man got himself some cocaine, and he's off the gaming circuit. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. They'll take him out. I don't think kids would have been like, "Oh, that voice of Olaf is the guy who got arrested for cocaine." I don't think they were going to make that comparison, but I see what they're trying to do. But I actually saw that article and thought it was for the American version. That's why I put it in today's episode. But I said, okay, it's funny. Cocaine, why not? We here at the Geek Bros podcast do not condone the use of cocaine or any other narcotics because this is a family podcast, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that disclaimer out the way. we're gonna move on to Fortnite players on Switch can't join PS4 and Xbox One matchmaking anymore. So I remember we had discussed this, that it was pretty cool that you did cross platforming, and now I guess it's gone. The latest Fortnite patch issued last week has changed the game's crossplay significantly. Not only does the game now make players participate in the crossplay pools by default, but Nintendo Switch versions only match with people on iOS and the Android, keeping them out of the larger console environment. The patch notes for version 8.10, Epic Games confirms that it has combined the matchmaking pool for PS4 and Xbox One, as well as mobile developers and the Switch. So basically, they divided it. So if you're Xbox and PlayStation 4, you'll be matched, and then mobile devices and Switch will be matched. I guess because the Switch is kind of a mobile device, so I guess it makes sense. We expect on average better per game experience for both mobile and Switch players. There have been complaints about an uneven playing field between those on traditional consoles and those on the Nintendo's hybrid handheld console. Considering that the PS4 and Xbox One players have been way more time to get into Fortnite, there is no real surprise. So basically, they're separating the mobile gamers from the Switch gamers.
Makes sense.
They're separating the console, the raw console, from the Switch and mobile players, because they're saying that the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox players are too OP and are owning all the players. So that's why they separated them. I guess that makes sense, but I mean, what's the difference between somebody who just picked up a PS4 today and picked the game today versus somebody who's had it for a couple of weeks? They're still going to get owned. So I don't know if that's a good of excuse to separate the player base. I think there's another reason behind it, but I don't know.
Just get rid of Fortnite.
Listen, Fortnite is the shit.
I don't know. I had to play it.
I've never played it either. I'm just saying that
I mean,
because my house plays it.
That sounds like a cost. That sounds like a cost issue. So if you have players,
That's what I thought.
And they have just started the gaming, but they stop because they're having their butts handed to them. They're not purchasing in-game products. They're not adding into the game. They're not doing any of the loot, which means you're losing out on members who are actually picking up the game. You're losing out on revenue.
So then, instead of separating the bases, separating them by class, why not just
Cost of acquisition.
why can't they just make a system? If you want to join the expert server, or you want to join the novice server, you want to join the beginner server, and still keep everybody together, why couldn't they do that?
I mean, you could. You're still going to get gankers. You're still going to get people. If you give people the option to join a certain server, you're going to have people who are going to be OP going into the beginner server and killing people. Just
I'm pretty sure that
anything else.
I'm pretty sure the consoles they track your usage time, and I'm pretty sure if you have like under 1,000 hours, you can be, but if you're above it, you can't join. They could easily write this in. They didn't have to separate the bases. It's not a hard thing. But I think it's more than just that. I'm pretty sure. But, womp womp. I don't really play it. None of us here. Nobody plays Fortnite here, right?
I tried to do it on a mobile device. I got
how could you play that on mobile? Like, that game looks absolutely nuts to play on a mobile device.
Play that period.
I tried. The controls were very difficult figuring out. I gave it about a day trying to figure it out. Like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going back to WarFrame.
And that is a perfect segue into the WarFrame DnD discussion. This is Garbanzo and DP. This is where I get to lay back and let my eyes glaze over because I have no idea what they're talking about. Gentlemen, bring it home.
As I've mentioned before in previous podcasts, I'm a big, massive WarFrame fan. Just overall, it's a great game. But the reason why I wanted to see if I'm glad that DP was able to join us tonight was actually because he's actually he plays it on more on a regular basis than I have lately. So he's a lot more up to date on what's going on. And then after a little roundup of what's coming to WarFrame, what's happened the last few updates since the last time I talked about, which was Fortuna. He's also a very very successful and a great a dungeon master in referencing to I say that because I've actually played many games with this man in reference to Dungeons and Dragons. So I just pick his brain a little bit. Huh?
You're not getting any extra XP for this. Just
that's fine.
There's
no wild points on.
I still think that was a fantastic introduction. I'll give you some extra XP from whatever
from these nuts.
So actually, DP, I'll let you kind of like. So what's been going on in WarFrame lately?
Well, WarFrame has a really big year going on. And you got to remember, I mean, I'm a huge fan. I've been a fan of them since their since they initially came out with Dark Sectors.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hold on. Let me cut in right there. First, for the layman, you've got to first explain what Warframe is before we even get into
Well, Warframe is designed by a company by some developers, Digital Extremes. You might know Digital Extremes from Dark Sectors back in 2000, but you probably know them more from BioShock 1 and BioShock 2. They're the company who brought you both the BioShock games. So back in 2000, they created a game called Dark Sectors, which was going to be a space game. And at that point, space games were no-go. And no one wanted anything to do with publishing a game with kind of a Call of Duty in space. No one wanted any business with it.
Really?
So they came out and did BioShock 1, BioShock 2, and they came back with this initial idea, which they had changed to Warframe, which is actually a term back from World War II, where the Americans were going to make a giant exoskeleton on our soldiers, and they called it a Warframe. Never actually put it in production, but they loved the idea and used it for the title.
We have that now.
Yep, we have that. In 2012, it's been released. So this game technically has spent 12 years in development. No one wanted to purchase it, so the developers went bank, put it out themselves. So the CEOs and owners are the people who develop the game. One of the benefits of that is that we get constant updates in the game. We get brand new material all the time. They're constantly coming out, working on their own bugs. They limit microtransactions as much as possible and improve the quality of life gaming for about every single player. At last count, there's well over, when they launched 5 years in, they were 26 million active players. We're at least quadruple, if not more than that now, within the community.
Well,
The game itself is a very straightforward game until you start getting into progressing through storyline. Obviously, like any good game, it has some great twists, it has some great progression. The game operates on you being in space in a giant exoskeleton called a Warframe. You have 4 basic powers. You go through missions kind of like Halo, or, well, in this case, Call of Duty, where you do 4-man missions to accomplish a certain goal in the mission and then exit back to an orbiter or ship. Now, as you progress through the game, you actually end up finding out that there are other Warframes. You end up having to do customizations, where at this point in the game, there are 39 different Warframes. And it's not like where you do an RPG where, in DnD, where you have a warrior, a mage, a healer. In D&D, it's all about different ways of killing things. It's very similar to Destiny and very similar to Anthem. But the difference is that each of the 39 different frames in the game have vastly different powers and abilities and effect in the game. You have Warframes like Limbo that create its own dimension, grabbing enemies in and manipulating what's around them. You have Warframes like Ember that cast fire, massive explosions. You have Warframes like the Nidus, which is an infested creature that grabs people with tendrils and does crowd control as well as massive healing. So they're just it's play style with
and the great thing about and not to cut you off, but the thing is, one of the great things about it is that every single Warframe in the game can be made through play. Yeah. You don't have to buy it. You have the option to take a shortcut.
Action. So Warframe, Digital Extremes focuses on microtransactions being skin. Really nice, good-looking stuff. But if it's gameplay, and they've recently redone, one of the big things they did this year is they redid their entire alert system. So before, there were these little alerts that would show up on the screen for players, asking them, hey, do you want to try and do this for a certain amount of in-game credits, or do you want to do this for a certain amount of resources? And now there are daily challenges. Hey, go out and kill 150 enemies. Hey, cause to 200 targets. And you can get quality of life items in the game where you couldn't before. Things like extra slots for Warframes, extra slots for weapons, different abilities and modifications to change out what your weapons and Warframes do. Things that they never did before when they first launched. And some of the big things they have right now for this year, especially for their 2019 Tenno convention, is in July. So that's their yearly full-on convention where people cosplay as the Tenno. They come out and do the whole thing. And so right now, Microsoft PS4 and Switch, so it's on all the platforms, is offering for $24.99. They've got these little tickets that you can get for a digital package. And what they're offering for their players is a brand new armor set, in-game credits, and access to the rare trader in the game, who's called Borrow. And you get access to the opportunity to buy every single rare item the game has offered that he's ever had access to. So anyone who gets that, it gets to be able to do that in July, when they actually, in Ontario, get to do their Tenno convention. Additionally, this year, they're looking at releasing another 5 additional Warframes. So we're going to be up to over 40 Warframes in the game.
And to think that when we first started playing this game back in 2012, 2013, there was 7 or 8. That's it.
Right. They've released 2 open world segments. So now Warframe no longer is only forcing players to play in a 4-man segment, kind of like Call of Duty. Where now they have open world close to a little bit like ESO, where you can go off there, find individual missions, and traverse the world. There are now open worlds for the planet Earth, open worlds for the planet Venus. And the big release that they're pushing for this year is called Railjack. Warframe allows players to be able to do, but at the moment, to commit combat on ground, in the enemy ship, and on a platform called Arcwing, which is your Warframe, gets wings, and can fly around in the air or fly into space.
Oh.
Railjack allows for all three simultaneous play factions at the same time. Your team grabs a solo ship, hijacks it, takes it into space. A team can pilot the ship. A team can exit the ship, fight in space, invade the enemy ship, blow it up from the insides, and as well go back on the planet side.
I'm getting back on.
All inclusive for all of what they've been doing for the last 10 years. They're going to allowing players to do everything all at once in one mission.
No, man, it sounds epic, and I'm really looking forward to the new update. And I promise I'll be playing a little bit Warframe. I'm coming up at least a couple days a week, so because I gotta catch up. I'm falling behind a little bit.
Shit, I'm behind like 4 years.
I have never played the game.
It's a really good game. I actually started playing with these two.
The only big drawback to Warframe, because it is made by the developers, is that beginning the game is very difficult. Developers also often don't think about the aftermarket effect of new players coming into the game when you've built so much content of how to introduce them to segments within the game. There's one of the, between the marketing and testing, but when it's just the developers building it and just the developers testing it, they already know the game and how it operates. So one of the most daunting tasks new players find is that it's very difficult to get into the game. One of the benefits, however, is that Warframe has nurtured a fantastic online community. You still get individuals who are rather sour or toxic. Not AJ toxic, but toxic. But for the most part, on Facebook, on any forums, Reddit, there are players willing to come out and help. There are clans, dojos devoted to, and dojos are the in-game. Yes, they're called dojos because they're ninjas. The whole game is ninjas in space.
Space ninjas.
So there are people out there to help new players. So for anyone else who ever joins the game, go to Bart, find a clan, message somebody. People are there to help. They want other people to play with.
And have fun.
I think DP and Garbanzo should start a clan and put a call out to you guys, the audience here, and you guys help them.
Xanathar's Hive. We're accepting.
We actually are right now accepting.
What is it called?
Wait, what did it call? I thought it was Milton's mom.
No, that's another fun activity. Oh God, Milton's gonna hit me for that one.
So he doesn't listen to this. He'll be fine. So are you guys right now on the back on the Xbox? Or are you still on the PC?
We're the Xanathar's Hive right now is on Xbox. So Bean and I right now are on Xbox. Bean still has his PC account. I still have my PC account, but the game is time demanding. So it's really not fun for you to have more than one platform. It's much easier for you to pick a platform and stick to it. And the communities are great, no matter what platform you choose. But I would not recommend cross-platform because they do not allow transfer of accounts.
I know it sucks.
So you don't get to take what you have to the new platform.
I still have both accounts, but I think for me the Xbox is much easier, especially when you do those like those rite of passage like quests to like level up your weapons or whatever. I never got past that goddamn like crossbow, or I mean the bow and arrow.
No, it's once you get through it, for those who are used to playing console, it is a lot easier console using your weapons and all that kind of stuff, and actually using all your powers. So it is a lot of fun.
It didn't start off that way. The game was originally PC, so when it was launched on PC and it went to console was a mess. Trying to keep up to the speed and need, because let's just be honest, PC is more powerful. You're never going to get the same kind of power and consistency you get with PC, no matter what you do. I'm a Microsoft guy, but even I will admit PC does it better.
And DP, I don't know if you knew this, but Xbox is planning on bringing out a keyboard and mouse setup for Xbox, and it's going to demo on Warframe.
Keyboard and mouse, it already works with Warframe if you want to set that up with your Xbox.
So, for those who are PC players that want to switch over, now there's no excuse.
PC principle.
Actually, now jumping, actually, I want to just jump straight into to the D&D discussion, man. Actually, I've been wanting to get you on. We've been talking about getting you on here for this because kind of really pick your brain on this. what kind of drew you into Dungeons and Dragons, like, overall? Because I mean, it's like, we had a discussion earlier today, and it's kind of like it's either one you get one or two reactions, when you talk about it. So just like, what got you into it? And
I mean, D&D, but it's not just D&D, because D&D itself, I mean, you got to remember that with D&D, when Gary Gygax and Dave Amish came up with this in 1974, and the company over to Wizards of the Coast in 1997. I mean, the actual main game is called Chainmail. So Chainmail was a war tactics game back in 1971. So the core rules that pretty much Werewolf, D&D, all these games use is based off of Chainmail, which was a war tactics miniature where you build militias. Even Warhammer nowadays follows what is initially Chainmail from 1971. Oh, poor JJ's like, I don't want to listen to this.
No, I do. It's my backwards.
Oh.
He had a long day at work.
But with the continuation,
Try putting some towels on your glutes, and I hear that helps.
What was that?
He said if you put some towels on your glutes, I heard that helps.
Oh my goodness! All right, before we get off track, or for the basics of it, I mean, they had, it was a really simple game. First edition there was only 10 levels. There was only 4 classes, and the wizard was the weakest class. They didn't have bars. It was your really basics that you had your healer, you had your rogue, you had your warrior, you had your wizard. That's it. 4 classes, 10 levels. And if a character died, you just quickly wrote up a new character and kept playing. But nowadays we have 5th edition and Pathfinder, who are that's the 2 biggest plays for Wizards of the Coast. And when I came into it, it was because, I always played some kind of game that was based off of a tabletop, like the basic tabletop gaming, where you had your pen and paper, your dice, some format of that. I mean, I've always loved board games. If it's just from Monopoly, if it's just from Hero Quest was another big one, where it was a similar tabletop game, but it only had D6 dice, and it operated much like almost any other board game, but it was a connection with Wizards of the Coast. It was very similar to D&D. So that's kind of what started me in it. I didn't get into it until we had a good group of friends who were actually enjoying it more than just that base board game, because when you take it from there and you take it into D&D, you can create entire worlds. You can create any characters you want to. And yeah, people have 2 kinds of reaction. Either they're sycophants, they're completely mad about the game, or you have people who have nothing but a negative outlook for it, for the direction you've taken or being involved in it. And it's really very, very rarely do you get a meeting interaction where sometimes people do just shrug, but for the most part, it's one end of the spectrum or the other.
I mean, with D&D actually becoming a little bit more mainstream with podcasts like Critical Roles and actually like even famous actors who openly, they talk about it. There's also like Joe Manganiello, who actually has this amazing dungeon, and actually and actually has his main character has become actual canon, which for anyone who plays any kind of tabletop game, to be able to like incorporate something you created into actual canon, that would be that's amazing. To even like like the shows like The Big Bang Theory, where like they play weekly games, or even have like little secret games with people like with William Shatner and Will Wheaton, and that kind of fun thing. So it's
people like Vin Diesel playing D&D too.
I like
yes, exactly.
Big Bang Theory has never been a positive thing for me with them gaming, because their humor has always been, oh, look at these nerds, or look at these guys, and it's always in a very humorous, instead of taking it, and that's just me, because I thoroughly enjoy the game and I'm a big supporter of D&D and what Wizards of the Coast produces for their fans. So it has been really nice to see them bring it into the limelight, but I prefer, so Will Wheaton actually has a really nice show online where he has various gamers go through, and he runs as a dungeon master.
Yeah,
of it. A Critical Role does a really great job, and those portions have taken kind of the humor that Big Bang started with, and they've really taken to what we love about the game, is that it's a very vibrant world, and the players are very connected with their characters.
And
these are
chaotic
that you want to see thrive. They become part of you.
All right. I mean, so what do you think is probably one of your favorite of things that have ever happened while playing? Like whether it's a player character or reaction or action that kind of just has stuck in your head, that is like been your favorite moment in all the games you've played so far.
Pretty much anything Rene does. Anything Rene does in D&D usually is something that no one's going to anticipate, or I never bother to anticipate. In my history, he had silenced undead kings because someone forgot to let the king cast silently. So that meant we couldn't that bad guy had to escape. He dropped a ship, a magical ship, on a pirate because he thought it'd be a quick way to end a battle. And I couldn't find anything in the rules that kept him from doing it, so he killed the guy. Actually, that's one of my favorite ones. The best thing about D&D are players who think outside the box. A great example is a small adventure where we had, and this wasn't mine, this was someone else. The Dungeon Master instituted a werewolf that chased the players. The purpose of the werewolf was to progress the story. Werewolf would chase the players into town, players would be in the town, werewolf would come in, players would run out of the town and go to the next area. And he could push the story along using this werewolf. Unfortunately, when they first came across it, the character decided, no, we're going to fight the werewolf. One of the players runs up and down the werewolf. What had come in later, which the Dungeon Master completely forgotten about, was that he had given the character the ability that if he had a seed and he called upon it, he could grow a tree. Immediately, a live, gigantic oak where his hand was. He shoved his hand in there, let the werewolf bite off his hand, and then cast the tree, killing the werewolf, growing a tree in the middle of its body. And the DM couldn't find any reason not to let them do it.
I actually remember that. I remember that. That was a great. Oh wow!
There are just moments when players there are in the world of D&D there are pocket dimensions that you can put into bags, you can put into objects, so that you don't have to carry on extra weight. The bag of holding, and you can put almost anything in a bag of holding, but it keeps closed. And one of the great things about D&D is also the relative mathematics and physics, where you also have a what was it again, Rene? It was a see-through hole. So what happens if you put a hole
bag of holding into a portable hole?
So what happens if you put a singular, unending, a black hole inside of a bag of holding, inside of a pocket dimension? And so it's a micronuclear device. Wizards of the Coast had to have a conversation about the effect of physics. What would happen if you put a black hole inside of a pocket dimension? What they decided is that a 10-foot by 10-foot area would just be eradicated from existence. And players went out and tried to find ways to make this happen.
And an archer actually came up with a way of doing it
where
distance.
Where someone actually had a weapon where the arrowhead, when it collided with a body, would put the hole inside the bag and eviscerate and just dissipate 10-foot by 10-foot square area of existence.
You guys are having way too much fun. I don't want to cut it off because we still have half a script to go through.
I do have to sign off a little early myself.
Oh, by all means. You gonna do it right now?
Because I'm working, but it was a pleasure.
DP, DP, thank you very much for coming on, man.
Thank you so much.
Later, guys.
Be good.
Now that was a very, very
nerdy,
intense. No, I wouldn't say nerdy because it was passion behind it. I was very detailed. So if you guys want to know more about WarFrame or D&D, please email us at geekbros0. That's GEEKBROS@yahoo.com, and I will absolutely have Garbanzo and DP reach out to you guys. I have no idea what to talk about. We're gonna move on quickly now. We're gonna blitzkrieg through the rest of this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Inebriated fitness, Norflex. Let's talk about this. Is 3 weeks left before celebration. You are on my fitness path to get as lean as possible for our podcast panel there. Now, you recently to help me break out of my plateau. I'd lost 13 pounds, wasn't going any further. You you told me to do sprint. So real quick before you discuss why you chose it for me, the 6 health benefits of sprinting that you can expect. This comes from zenlabsfitness.com. Number 1, it's better heart health. 2, it's more strength. 3, more speed and power. 4, longer endurance. 5, faster metabolism. 6, less time working out. Now, in your expert opinion, I'd read these, but we don't have any time. What I just listed is six benefits from sprinting. Do you concur?
No.
Really? Okay. So why am I doing sprints?
Well, it works for you,
allegedly.
But so the less time working out, whoever wrote this is just being lazy. Yeah, it's a good supplement to your exercise. You still got to actually work out for real. Faster metabolism, yeah, depends. Longer endurance? No, this absolutely does not train endurance because this is using an energy system that only lasts about 10 seconds. So that's also fake news. This guy must be a CrossFitter.
Wow. This is
More.
the third or fourth time you did jabs at CrossFitters. I've got to get the next Leave to Fitness. You're going to explain what you have against CrossFit. I'm putting it in episode 59, so stay tuned for that. But carry on.
I definitely want to see that.
More speed and power? No, this isn't how you train speed nor how you train power. But I mean, you can train things to transfer to it that will increase speed and power, but it's not going to increase your speed and power. I mean, initially it will if you like sit down for the most part, like like the majority of your day. Yes, of course. The more you move, the better. But more strength, yes. This is targeting your bigger type 2 twitch muscles, which obviously are going to be stronger and bigger. It is better for your heart health. It does give you heart rate variability, but you're going to have to also do other kinds of training like long distance training or slow, steady, sustained state training. But why it works for you is because it's this simple. Your body's not used to this stimulus. Your body's adapting to a stimulus. In order to adapt, it needs to use energy. What is the most amount of energy you have in your body right now? Now, you would say glycogen, yes, it's in our muscles and livers. Of course, that's what we use for energy, but you also have fuel. Fat is also a source of fuel. So it works for you perfectly because you're making for the most part, relatively to you, right? This is quite a significant change in your activity. This isn't something your body's used to, so it's going to have to quickly be able to adapt to the stimulus placed upon your body. So it's a stress that you're putting on. It's a good stress, and that's going to help you improve yourself just because now your body has to work harder to not break down pretty much. I mean, if I put it in layman's terms, that's all it is.
It's definitely broken me out of my plateau. I get weighed on one of those machines twice a week, and I'm back to losing 1.5 to 2 pounds minimum a week, which is freaking fantastic with my 16-hour fasting. So I'm actually thrilled to death about that. So we're gonna keep counting down and see. I don't know if I don't really have a goal per se, but we'll see how lean I get. But in 3 weeks, we have 3 weeks till celebration. So next topic, Flex.
Excellent. So next topic we have actually this is quite of a breath of fresh air, right? Did you get any complaints or any like people commenting on the last inebriated fitness topic?
Not via email, no.
Okay, no, that's just wondering because I mean it's a pretty sensitive subject. Nobody wants to be told that fat's not beautiful and it's not healthy.
No, of course, no, nobody said anything to me to my face.
Right, but it's that hard to swallow pill.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, look, the Dark Flex is if nothing, if not blunt and honest.
Yeah, because we didn't
professional.
We didn't approach it from a social aspect. Of course, be who you want to be, but it's absolutely not beautiful or healthy to be that way. But this one, Nootropics. Nootropics is pretty much a brain vitamin, so it helps us with cognitive focus. One reason, now I use this a lot for the fighters, one to protect their neurological degradation. Also, it helps them focus as far as having a good, reaction time when it comes to dodging punches or sprawling on shooting. But specifically for our fans, On It, which is Joe Rogan's supplement company, they have a pretty good nootropic called Alpha Brain, and they actually sponsor a lot of esports, and they use nootropics for a lot of gamers. Now, this helps this helps you focus. It helps you react better. It helps you to, I mean, I'm not a competitive gamer because I'm a man, but you can actually change the sensitivity on your console remote to be able to move a lot faster, shoot faster, and so on. I personally, I don't have the dexterity nor the focus to be able to do that, but one of the big selling points of nootropics is that it will help you improve that. It also helps you sleep better. A lot of people like to dose it about twice the dosage before bed. You have a lot more vivid, lucid dreams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So nootropics come in various forms. Coffee is actually a low-grade nootropic. Well, not coffee, caffeine. But you can get nootropics in pills. You can get it in like drink form. There's also a Dominican coffee called Chimera that is naturally has nootropics outside of caffeine, which is pretty good for you as well. But I've taken nootropics a bit before, and it does help me focus. It helps me. I hate reading. I'll drink some coffee, take some nootropics, and the mixture of caffeine and those pills actually help me pretty well. I'm able to get through a book or get to some kind of subject or study that I have to read that I really don't want to. So when it comes to health, it's not just about being muscular, it's not just about being thin or having a good cardiovascular system. It's also your brain. Your brain is a very important part of your machine or the car that is part of your body. So why not protect it? I mean, honestly, I can't think of a reason why not.
Can you give us examples of I don't know if it's called supplements or where do you get nootropics from? Like, is this something you buy in GNC? Is this from fruits and vegetables?
I wouldn't go to GNC because they're overpriced and they sell BS. But Whole Foods has a pretty good section of nootropics. You can get it in pill, powder, or drink form.
It's called nootropics.
Nootropics.
Okay.
The aisle will be nootropics. Obviously, there's individual brands.
Oh, there's an aisle that just says nootropics.
Yeah, like
Really?
it should be the supplement aisle, and then there should be a nootropic section in that aisle. You can also get them on Onnit.com. You can get them on bodybuilding.com. Pretty much anywhere you can find supplements, and it's pretty easy to get. Don't get fooled into going for the more expensive brands. Nootropics has a pretty set number of ingredients. I mean, it's pretty much just that. If you're getting anything else other than those ingredients, you're just wasting your money for nothing.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for that. Inebriated Fitness, brought to you by Darflex. We're going to move on to anime/animation invasion. I'm going to combine these things now. Have you guys seen anything about this Batman versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles nonsense?
I've seen the commercial for it. That's it.
I saw it. Jesus. This article comes from Polygon.com. Who's smoking? Who's coughing?
No.
I didn't even see that.
I
Don't
apologize.
smoke, don't drink.
No vaping on the podcast.
No vaping.
So this article comes from Polygon.com, the first place that we get our news. Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The first trailer promises wacky crossover. I didn't watch this trailer. I'm just going to read the article. Upcoming animated film, Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Seems like the crossover dream of an imaginative child. The first trailer promises some wacky team-ups, and it'll be just a bunch of fun. On the heels of their number one foe, Shredder, the Turtles find themselves in Gotham City, while the Bat family initially sees them as a threat. The two of them team up and join forces to fight Shredder. They recruit. Who recruits some of the most iconic Batman villains, Ra's al Ghul and the Joker amongst them. So the animation looks
terrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say different, but I'm glad you said it for me. It looks the turtles, they look ridiculous. I mean, it's really, I don't know what they're trying to go for, but the animation is pretty poor from just the screenshot.
I think they're going with like okay, just so that you guys know, actually look at it.
I mean, it's like it's not. I mean, I don't know what kind of animation style they're going for, but it's not really appealing to my eye.
They look malnourished.
Yeah, and then the turtles, they look. I mean, just look at their jawline. It's so weird, and you got Donatello's got like an egg head. I think Michelangelo's the only one with a normal face. You have I hate to say this, but Raphael looks kind of like he's got some kind of chromosome issue. Look at Raphael. Look at Raphael. I'm serious. and then
Downy.
I think it's very much like a ogre kind of situation, like a.
Yeah, but like he's like why is his bottom jaw so like?
That comment.
So what would you say?
He said it's an ogre situation, and I was like, Disney doesn't approve of that comment.
Doesn't approve of that comment. So I don't know if you guys check it out. By all means, I mean I know I'm not gonna check it out. I'm not gonna review this.
Me neither. Actually, the only Ninja Turtle crossover that ever mattered was I think it was back in the late '90s or early 2000s when Power Rangers in Space actually met the Ninja Turtles. And
oh my God, no.
Yes.
Blasphemy. That was terrible.
Was a great episode.
You were much older when that came out. I was still a little kid, so obviously I enjoyed it.
Not much older when it came out. Okay,
bro, you're like 6 years older than me.
I'm not 6 years old. I'm allegedly 6 years older than
16 years older. Well.
Allegedly. Look, I still look good for my age, all right? Shoot. So black don't crack, right? So we're gonna move on to Gadgets R Us. Nvidia's new Nvidia brings new ray tracing technology to GTX graphics cards. Basically, Nvidia spent the last year trying to make the case for its newest graphic card, the expensive GeForce RDX line of GPUs. The biggest selling point of Nvidia's RTX cards has been support for a powerful new feature known as real-time ray tracing, long considered to be the holy grail of graphics rendering technology. When Nvidia announced the feature, which it calls Nvidia RTX, a year ago at the Game Developers Conference, I want to go to that conference, the company said that the technology would run only on its RTX GPUs, which wouldn't be available till September. So basically, I think it's trying to say that it's like bringing movie quality to video games, making them look like as dynamic or almost indistinguishable between um, movies and the actual video games. That's basically what you're trying to say. That it's intense. It's undeniably a positive steps for graphics technology.
Looks good.
And real-time ray tracing is a very promising development. It represents the future of gaming's and the software development, and chicken and eggs, and all the other good stuff. So, with that being said, what do you guys think?
I think it looks amazing. I think I'm definitely, once I build my computer, I'm going to go ahead and... I actually own one share of Nvidia on Robinhood.
One whole share?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at the picture right now where they just slide back and forth between like what it looks like. I mean, honestly, it's impressive. I mean, I'm looking forward to see. Maybe, I mean, I have a feeling that the graphics card is a little out of my price range right now, since I'm not doing a desktop. But at the same time, maybe one day I'll be able to get when the technology gets a little bit cheaper. I'm looking forward to trying it out.
Well, yeah, when it becomes more mainstream, when all technology comes out first, it's incredibly expensive. Then it becomes mainstream, and then you're like, why did I spend so much in the beginning?
People forget that the most expensive part when you're building a computer is not usually your motherboard, nor your CPU. It's usually your graphics card.
That is a good point. I learned that the hard way when I was building my my studio. I flushed a lot of money on everything else but that, and that bit me in the behind later on when I upgraded my Adobe Suite. So, with that, we're gonna move on to open mic. We have 3 more topics left and 20 minutes to go. So, this is just messing with. Bart becomes an esports star in The Simpsons, and I'm only bringing this up. I want to read it real quick. That this article comes from, of course, Polygon.com. Bart Simpson becomes an esports star in the next episode of The Simpsons.
Isn't he like 80?
Huh?
Isn't he like 80 by now?
Yeah. He's got the what's the short man? The dwarf syndrome. Which one that keeps you small?
The Andy Milonakis.
Exactly.
Growth hormone deficiency.
Right. In the next episode of The Simpsons, we'll send Bart, Homer, and the rest of the Simpsons clan to Korea for an esports focused episode. Bart will compete in the League of Legends like game in the episode titled My Sports. As Bart begins to excel in video game competitions, Homer discovers a passion for coaching him. The episode's official description reads: Lisa attempts to bring Homer back to reality, but the plan causes chaos. Now, I only bring this up because we had a past episode, not long ago, maybe 10, 15 episodes ago. I don't know how long, but we had brought up how was it oh god, what is that sports magazine?
ESPN.
ESPN features an esports player, and Flex just was not.
Oh yeah, it was what's his name, the Ninja.
Yeah. No. What? No. So Flex, what is your issue about esports celebrities or esports in general? Or let me the term esports, because it's like a sore topic for you.
They're not athletes. It's not a sport.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, I mean,
literal keyboard warriors.
Yeah, like
so why can't keyboard warriors, be considered a sport?
Wait, I would like to clarify this.
It's not a sport competition.
No. Hold on.
Competition is a sport.
As a strength and conditioning coach and a nutritionist and a physiologist, if you're paying me, whatever you do can be a sport. Just pay me.
Absolutely.
Just pay me. Money will absolutely change all my views and political stance. I have that.
Right.
I have no morals, man. I fought in 2 wars that probably weren't even like real. So
fantastic. That's the thing. So would that be we're gonna move on from that. So Flex, you brought us to our attention. Netflix guesses your sexual preference. That's all you.
Wait,
so,
what?
So
exactly.
There obviously, so there was a Twitter comment to Netflix from a CEO of a LGBTQ LBC whatever exclusive company, right? That it's a tech company. So there's a new show called Love, Death Plus Robots. It's a pretty good show on Netflix. Now,
I finished it recently. I loved it.
God, it's amazing. It's like everything like that Matrix Reloaded should have. I mean, the Matrix animated series should have been, but better. So the tweets said that when he was going through the episodes, it started out with a lesbian episode, right? And
Okay.
this guy's a homosexual. So, and then he went to his straight friend and asked him, and he started out with a different episode. Now he's thinking that Netflix is picking the episode orders based on your sexual preference, right? Or based on, you know, the probably the amount of things you watch, whether it's, you know, rainbowy or not. And then Netflix actually tweeted back and saying, you know, no, absolutely, this is not information we have from you. We're just trying out kind of a new algorithm to randomize the episodes, being that, you know, kind of like Black Mirror. This show does not follow any kind of linear timeline.
Yeah.
It's just like
every episode's different.
Yeah, it's like from 5 to maybe 20 minutes every episode.
So it's an anthology series.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And
my
man,
favorite one's still the Hitler one.
The Hitler one? Dude, I like the 3 robots that were touring the post-apocalyptic.
Yes, that was hilarious.
But another thing is, if you have not checked out this show, it is amazing. If you were old enough to see Heavy Metal and Heavy Metal 2000,
yes,
and have been able to see the Halo Legends, the animated series, as well as the Matrix animated series, this is a bunch of short clips that are CGI, motion capture, which, wow, I mean, some of these look outstandingly good and real.
I think there was one that wasn't motion capture.
There was one that was live action, the refrigerator one.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. And then the other rest are like cartoons, or like kind of like sort of a it's still CGI, but it's kind of like got a little stop motion vibe to it, kind of like Coraline or those claymation movies, but it's honest animation. It's just really good.
What was the other one? There was another movie that actually Scanner Darkly. There's a couple that are kind of like Scanner Darkly, where it's like live action.
Illustrated.
Yeah, it was illustrated on top of live action.
It's
so
like
that
digital
was,
makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I highly recommend this show. Probably not for your kids. There's a lot of
nudity,
penises, and stuff like that in it.
Yeah, quite a few actually.
And gratuitous amounts of violence.
Very.
It's amazing.
Well, I gotta check this out. You said it's on Netflix?
Yes, sir.
All right. I like it. So I'm going to our final topic. It's inspired by a healthy debate between Rene and I on Facebook Messenger. I'm gonna play the clip. Now this clip comes from our Captain Marvel review, and I said something that made Rene respond rather strongly on Facebook Messenger. So here's the clip.
How Nick Fury lost his eye was a joke. Ridiculous. Stupid. Do you really expect me to believe that when Nick Fury stands up with all that intensity in the Winter Soldier and says,
"Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye,"
that he was flashing back to a cat scratching his face? Come on.
All right, so that's the clip that I guess Rene randomly watched this afternoon, and Rene, I'd like to give you a chance now to repeat what you said to me on Facebook Messenger, and let's start the debate.
Right.
Go for it.
All
Are
right.
you there?
So
Okay, good.
I don't think he was talking about the cat. I think he was talking about who told him the cat wasn't harmless, or was harmless. And that's basically where it came from, where the whole idea came from, was that he trusted whoever told him the cat was harmless, that the cat would actually be harmless. And turns out he was wrong, or they were wrong. And his trust in that person caused him to lose an eye.
Okay, now before I rebut, Garbanzo, do you have?
No, yeah, I don't know. I thought they may have done it like that just to kind of to make it cute.
What make what cute?
The whole like, oh, he lost an eye because of kitty, whatever, blah blah. I mean, I don't know.
Right, but that's what I'm saying though. I just played the clip. He got up in Captain America's face and said, "Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye." You heard the bitterness in that statement, okay?
He trusted the cat.
And that's what you think he was thinking of when he got into Captain America's face? What can you imagine if Captain America asked him and he said, "Listen, it's because an alien cat scratched my eye"?
Gentlemen, just one thing before you guys continue.
Yes,
I thought it would have been a woman who did it, but also I have to go. I have a client who I have to fix for tomorrow for his nutritional plan.
Fantastic.
So,
Listen, Flex, thank you so much for joining us. Real quick, just give us your social media before you dip out.
if you guys want to check out pretty cool training stuff and UFC stuff, you can find me on Instagram at Darth_Flex is 2 X's and on Twitter as Dark_Flex Performance. You can also find my woodcrafting and that beautiful mug you see behind Jason. It says, Vibe. It says VR Studios.
That's always
on the
behind me.
Inebriated Craftsman on Instagram as well.
Listen, Flex, thanks so much. We'll check you out next week.
All right, you guys have a great night.
You're good.
Okay. Now back to what we were discussing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I don't buy it. That was terrible. That is not what Nick Fury. That is not what the Russo brothers probably even thought when they wrote that line, and that he lost it to a cat. And you're gonna tell me what he's upset at Captain Marvel for telling us Captain Marvel was the only one that said it was harmless. And if he's so mad at Captain Marvel to be that bitter about it to Captain America in the future, then why would he would name his Avengers Initiative after her plane? Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Didn't realize the permanency of his eye until much later on.
What are you talking about?
He's playing around with like the whole fake eye thing or whatever. And
what part of the movie?
Even after he gets scratched, he's like, "No, I'm good."
What part of the movie did he see the Avengers listed on Carol Danvers' plane at the end? Right.
Yeah.
Right after Coulson came in with a bunch of prosthetic eyes, so he knew at that moment his eye was done. Coulson came in with a bunch of prosthetic eyes. That you have a big decision to make, and he still looked at Carol Danvers' plane. And it's like da 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 da. So I'm sorry, you can't justify how stupid this was. He lost his eye to a scratch from an alien cat. He put that thing close to his face after seeing that thing go tentacle hog wild, okay, on a spaceship. Okay.
Trusted himself.
So I'm sorry. Nick Fury was a jackass in his youth. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, aren't we all?
I agree. I absolutely agree. But then you cannot sit there and say that you lost your eye because you trusted somebody. You lost your eye because you were stupid, because you put an alien close to your face.
Or maybe he just needed to say that to Captain because he's using it as an excuse. It's like perfect example. Let's say I get to run and I get the scratch that I got from falling off a bike, and then but around certain people I'll be like, I got stabbed.
I get you. I get you. And you could also make the case that he did the same thing with Coulson's bloody cards when he used words to motivate. You're right. You're absolutely right. But I'm sorry. I don't buy it. That was the dumbest thing. I thought that how Solo got his last name was the dumbest thing I'd ever see in movies. And then I saw how Nick Fury lost his eye.
Because I'm still pissed off that I'll never see a Thraken Solo.
You know who?
Thraken Solo, his Han's cousin, who is actually a really bad guy from never mind.
Yeah, that's not canon. So yeah, I'm sorry. Like when I think about it, it gets me so annoyed. It's the worst part of that movie for me. Like for a mediocre movie,
I can see that.
For a mediocre movie, it just I couldn't believe that that a Marvel movie disappointed a major moment for me worse than The Last Jedi, worse than Solo. Like you really. That's something for you to do for me. So I mean,
they try really hard.
But I mean, like who in Marvel? How did Kevin Feige? How did he say that's how we're gonna do it? He had to sign off on this. Why did he say that's it right there?
Because they want to make these movies more kid friendly, and that was it's just like, oh, it's a cute little cat scratch.
Then why did they allow Hela to cut out friggin' Thor's eye a couple of movies prior? And that was one of the kid friendliest movies because it was so funny and lighthearted and cute of the MCU. So tell me why
she was evil.
Okay,
that's not evil.
You had a whole bunch of shape-shifting evil bad guys. You also had
I'm sorry. According, not according to Marvel, not according to MCU.
In the beginning, they were considered evil, so you could have easily have said, okay, fine, let it happen then, and you could have had Nick Fury throughout the entire movie with a chip on his shoulders, ready to just wreck these dudes with Captain Marvel. And then guess what? When the twist came, oh, we're really the good guys. He could have humbled himself and be like, well, you guys took my eye.
I'm telling you, I still think they did it just. They did it just. They with the cards. It was.
They made him losing his eye a joke, Garbanzo. Can we agree to that?
Yeah, they made it a joke.
They made it a joke. That's not cool. That's a big moment for his character. That's him with his eye patch is a signature part of his character, and they made that a joke. So every time I look at his eye patch, I will remember that a cat did that.
And every time look, listen, the only way this would actually be okay is that if he was able to keep that power out of his eye.
Let me see his eye.
It would be okay if what?
If he get the same powers of the cat out of his eye.
Those tentacle thingies? Why would you want that?
Why wouldn't you?
I wouldn't. Not even close. That stuff is that was not. That was like they kind of copied the Groot moment, in my opinion, by what he did. But that is here nor there. We're gonna wrap it up, guys. Thank you again for tuning in to Keeping Up the Geek Bros, episode 58. Before we go, don't forget you can check us out on Instagram. That's Geek Bros, GEKBR0S. Twitter, same thing, at Geek Bros with a 0. You can email us about anything here or more, or even suggest different topics. Or remember, WarFrame DnD, Garbanzo, DP. Check them out. Geek Bros with a 0 at yahoo.com. Remember, you can listen to us weekly at WeBeGeeksPC.com, the first place to listen to Keepin' the Geek Bros. And you can watch these smooth, buttery voices on YouTube.com/VibeRev Studios. Before we go, shameless promotion, inspired by Garbanzo. We already got flexes. DP is gone. We didn't ask him, and Joe never came back. So, it happens. So, Garbanzo.
You can actually follow me on Twitch, the Twitter, and Instagram. All
yes, Twitter is twat.
On my IG is BEANTKE278. That's Bean TKE278. Also on IG, you can also find me under Darth Bean278. So, and basically every and just don't forget that we can also find all the podcasts on everywhere else you can find podcasts. So,
everywhere else you can find podcasts. Rene.
All right. You can find me on Instagram mostly at not the user you're looking for, or my new gaming page. Check it out at _J_R_P_G_ just Rene playing games. So check it out. And of course, you can follow this podcast and all our podcasts on YouTube or anywhere else.
Fantastic. And don't forget, Star Wars Celebration Chicago 2019, the Geek Bros streaming live panel Friday, April 12th, 1 to 1:45 Central Standard Time. And again, if you're in Chicago, you're there, meet us face-to-face Saturday, April 13th, 7:30 p.m. until. This is brought to you by Coffee with Kenobi. You can check us out at coffeewithkenobi.com/Star Wars-Wars. No, let's do it again. coffeewithkenobi.com/Star Wars-Wars-podcast-meetup-at-celebrities-Chicago. It's going to be at the Arc Bar at what is that place called? What is the convention location called? Absolutely. Wherever the convention is, but it's going to be at the Art Bar, and it's going to be fantastic. Come out there. We're all going to be meeting up there. I actually can't wait to meet another person that's that other group that's on the Weeby Geeks network, which is what we are part of, is iRebel. We're absolutely definitely going to meet with them, and we're going to network with them. And so other than that, you going to say something? You want to wrap it up?
Actually, geeking out never looks so good, gentlemen.
Fantastic.
Keeping up with the Geek Bros.